Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Gearing up for the Lions' big game against Tampa Bay. Before you come downtown on Sunday, we have the 4 things you need to know before kickoff. But first, we're going to begin with the weather as Arctic air again settles on Metro Detroit. Single-digit temperatures that could make it actually feel as low as 20 below zero. Glad you're with us this Friday at 11. I'm Devin Skillian.
I'm Kimberly Gill. Let's get right over to Kim Adams, who's tracking the forecast. Kim, it's going to be a cold one.
It is. Let's just get the bad news right out of the way. I started just feels like forecast, which is the wind chill forecast at Saturday, 6 a.m. 18 below is what it will feel like in Pontiac. 18 below in Ann Arbor, 17 below in both Howell, Flint, and also in Lapeer, 12 below in Port Huron, Mount Clemens, 15 below downtown Detroit. So you might want to delay that morning walk just a little bit as it is going to be bitterly cold in the morning. Right now, temperatures are already down to the single digits in some spots, including Pontiac at 6, Howells 9, also in Ann Arbor, 10 in Mount Clemens, 12 City Airport. Wind chills are already below 0 in Howell. It feels like it's 3 below. 1 is the current wind chill in Ann Arbor for City Airport. So tomorrow we start the day at around 3 degrees and then we warm, if you can call it warm, up to 20. At least we don't have any snow to deal with. That's a bright spot this weekend. And we only have 2 more days of this Arctic air. And then look what happens 1 week from today. We will hit 40. There is some rain for next week. And we'll talk about the rest of the weekend forecast coming up.
Okay, Kim, and you can check the forecast anytime on the Forewarned Weather app. You can download it for free in the App Store. Just search WDIV. We are counting down the minutes until the Lions take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Divisional Round Sunday afternoon. All of Detroit is going Honolulu Blue as a win Sunday will put the Lions in the NFC Championship game for the first time since the 1991 season.
As Lions fans prepare for the big game, we have the 4 top things, the 4 tops that you need to know before you head downtown on Sunday. Mara McDonald live at Ford Field tonight. For starters, let's talk about parking, Mara.
You mean extortion, Devin, because
Yes.
That's really what these prices are looking like right about now. I'm not kidding. I mean, there are going to be some of these lots close to Ford Field. They're probably going to be more than $100 a pop to park there. Something to consider, though. Detroit does not pay or does not ask you to pay for street parking, metered parking on Sundays. Tip, if you want a good spot, get down here early. Just know that even legit parking lots are going to be charging ridiculous amounts of money to park your car. All of that said, know that if you get here early enough, street parking is an option.
In the city of Detroit, you will never be charged cash to park on a public street. So that is the first thing. So we have a detail to address that.
If you're using a lot, make sure it is well lit and secure, and don't fall for being asked to show your insurance or give your keys to an attendant. Steer clear of that nonsense. Also, expect to see DPD out here in force. The department has a special event protocol it employs for big days and nights downtown that will be in effect. Last Sunday, there was no drama. Just a really great time. The police department intends to keep it that way, so don't be surprised if you see a large law enforcement presence in and around the central business district. Something else to remember, the Wings are also playing Tampa Bay on Sunday, and that game time has been moved because of the Lions playoff game, moved to 7 o'clock at night. All of which means this city is going to be hopping from the early morning hours to late in the evening. Hopes for this team are at an all-time high, and so are the decibels inside Ford Field. They broke a record last Sunday, which means if you're bringing a little one to Ford Field to experience the hoopla, Dr. McGeorge has some advice.
These sound levels are high enough that they can damage anyone's hearing in seconds, especially young children's. Children's ear canals are much shorter, so they allow more sound in, and their ears are more sensitive.
Back here live, all of which means some sort of ear protection for little ones is probably a great idea. So come out on Sunday, have a wonderful time, and that warm-up Kim talked about, it can't come soon enough. I think my nose may have just frozen shut out here tonight. We're live downtown. Kimberly, Devin,
back to you.
Well, a win would create a lot of warmth. I do know that, no matter what the temperature would be.
Yeah.
All right, Mara.
Thanks, Mara.
The parents of defensive end Aiden Hutchinson have had a front row seat to his historic season, and seeing their son right in the center of all this has been a thrill.
That's right. And before being drafted by the Lions 2 years ago, Aiden played football at U of M. Even though he wasn't on this national championship team, his parents and I talked about some of the similarities with what got Michigan to that win and what we're seeing at Ford Field.
I felt like last week was kind of like breaking through a brick wall, like the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
And it became that emotional. And this week's like the Big Ten champs. And so, you know, that you got to like be in, you know, you got to be prepared. But you have this like view of a summit that you're just like, after you broke through that wall, there's this summit and it's like, it's yours for the taking, you know?
And it's very similar to what happened at Michigan. And,
yes, exactly.
You know, I'm not going to take too much. He's not going to take too much credit, but certainly he was a part of both of those.
He's a huge part of why the Lions are where they are today, and that's got to make you feel so good as parents.
Oh, it's amazing.
During our pregame special this Sunday, you're going to hear so much more from the Hutchinson family, including the special bond between Aiden and his dad. I can't wait to tell you about the one special way they communicate during the game, which is pretty interesting.
During the game.
During the game.
That's so
That's
wild.
right.
Well, his dad played at Michigan
U of M,
too, so
that's
they
right.
definitely understand each other and what they're
Got
doing.
that
I'm really
bond.
looking forward to that.
Well, Local 4 is the place for Lions football this weekend. Coverage starts at noon on Sunday.
We're actually going to start with a look back at the Lions' last trip to the divisional round of the playoffs, 1991, after the 1991 season. At 1 o'clock, it's our all-in playoff pregame show live from Ford Field. Hope you'll join us for that, and then you'll see the game here live at 3 o'clock. I hope you'll stick around for our post-game reaction and analysis, too.
And also head to clickondetroit.com right now for a chance to win one of 2 official Herm and Lowe Detroit Lions blankets. We'll be announcing those winners live on Sunday's pregame show.
All right, new at 11 tonight, one person is hurt after an apartment fire on Detroit's west side. It happened on Schaefer near Linwood. Fire investigators say one person had to be taken to the hospital with smoke inhalation. Everyone inside, though, was able to get out safely. They are working on figuring out what started the fire. It was a celebration for a Macomb County child recently diagnosed with terminal cancer.
The Romeo community threw a birthday party for 11-year-old Michael and his family. As our Jacqueline Francis reports, it was an over-the-top celebration.
Balloon animals, a DJ, a bounce house, and more. All of this to celebrate Michael's 11th birthday.
Our job is to make every kid feel as special as we can.
We're about 2 minutes out from him walking in.
You didn't even have to know Michael to show up for his birthday party.
Thank you.
An over-the-top celebration where he was crowned king.
Just getting to see him come in and know that this is for him, and he had no idea. And he was probably just so excited to show up at school, but this moment was for him.
The school community took care of all the planning, leaving Michael and his family in awe.
We pulled into the parking lot and it was full, but I wasn't expecting what we walked into, and it was so overwhelming, and it just makes me happy to see that he's so well loved.
Michael will be 11 on Monday. For the last few years, he's been fighting cancer. Recently, his prognosis became terminal, and their priorities shifted.
We've had to say no to a lot of things, a lot of trips, a lot of activities, and so at this time, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to do all the things that we couldn't do and shove as much things into this time that we have as possible, and that this is meant to do that, to help us do that.
He spent most of the party in the bounce house because what kid doesn't love that? A celebration and a night to remember. All the money raised tonight will go to Michael's family as they continue to make all of his wishes come true. Reporting in Washington, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
So sweet.
Really special. All right, with little time to spare, the U.S. government survives a partial shutdown.
Short-term funding extension got through both chambers of Congress Thursday, and today, hours ahead of the deadline, President Biden signed the extension into law.
Today, we get some good news. We just signed a bill to keep the government open. I thought about it when I signed it, but you know, some days that counts as progress.
The measure eliminates the looming deadlines of Friday and February 2nd, but there is still work to do. Lawmakers now have to pass a series of year-long spending bills by new deadlines, which are March 1st and March 8th.